talk a little bit about Momo Adamo because he's one of the people the Bompensiero. We can talk a little bit about Bompensiero ended up marrying Thelma, the daughter of the woman who kind of took him in early on, and they have a sort of a torrid love life, and they get married, and he lives in an apartment of hers. Well, he lived as a single guy, lived in her apartment, but I think he and Thelma also lived in one of her places because she gathered up a lot of real estate here.
Right.
But now the Adamos, how did he meet the Adamos? Were they from Porticello too, you think? Or?
I don't remember where he's from, but I'm sure he met them through the Dragnets, because Adamo was well, the Adamo brothers were both part of the LA.
The LA mob.
Yeah,
they were.
In fact, Momo was near the top. I mean, you had Jack and Tom and Momo and his brother Joseph. And
so the Dragnets and the Adamos were close.
They were very close.
And they socialized.
But they lived up in LA. But,
okay.
Bompensiero would go back and forth between LA and San Diego. So.
And Bompensiero was close to both of them, the Adamos
yes.
But there's a crucial event that happens, and I think it's a guy named DeSimone.
Frank
DeSimone.
Yeah. So he ends up, after Jack Dragnet dies, he ends up becoming the head of the LA family. But at this time, he was an attorney.
Okay.
Frank DeSimone.
That's right.
He was an attorney,
That's
and
right.
he represented a lot of the mafia, or
right.
the underworld guys. When they would get in trouble up in LA, he was their lawyer.
But isn't there an accusation, and I think
yes.
pretty much confirmed, that he raped
Momo Adamo's wife,
Marie
in front of him, supposedly.
Wow.
As kind of a
intimidation
thing, and just kind of, hey, screw you, kind of a,
And what happens after that?
So Momo Adamo is so upset by this that he tries to kill his wife, and then he tries to commit suicide. Well, he ends up killing himself, but his wife ends up living.
This is where? Where did this happen? Do you remember?
I want to say it happened here.
In Kensington.
In Kensington. Yeah. They were living in Kensington at the time.
And the weird thing is, if you live in San Diego and you know Kensington, it's kind of a very nice, quiet, beautiful Spanish architecture.
Well, that's what struck me when I was researching the Frank Bompensiero story. And I found they had moved to Kensington, him and Thelma and their daughter. How many other people had moved? How many of the LA Mafia guys had moved to Kensington?
It's so weird.
And both the Adamo brothers,
yeah.
and just a number of them,
yeah.
were scattered within a couple blocks of each other in Kensington.
Yeah.
And they would socialize and all that. But yeah, and that goes back to Frank being loyal, because Thelma had died by this time. And he married.
That's later on.
Okay, well.
Yeah, later on.
All right.
We'll get into that in the next segment. But the other thing I'm kind of struck by is that there was also a special way that Bompensiero had of killing people called the rope trick.
Yes.
And I think that happened in a house in Kensington.
Yes.
I forgot the name of the fellow. Was it Lacanci? I don't know. I've got it.
It was Borgia, wasn't it?
Borgia, yeah. So there's a wedding that takes place at St. Joseph's Cathedral over here downtown.
Yeah, there's. So in Judith's book, she says that Frank Borgia came down, and he was another guy connected to the family, and he came down for the wedding of a daughter of a friend, type of thing.
But they had it out for him for some reason. He did something wrong. He wouldn't share money or something.
Yeah. So he, during Prohibition, he was a sugar supplier. So he would supply sugar to the mafia guys up in LA, and they could make their hooch or whatever,
Yeah.
And from that, it grew to he was I believe he owned a grocery store or some kind of a thing, but he ended up buying. Well, he had a vineyard.
Oh.
Out in the, I want to say it was out in the Rancho Cucamonga area. Type of thing.
That's where a lot of them got their.
Yeah. So he ended up selling a piece of the vineyard.